Kimbeleko Lekombuluki Rambel Ranga Matwete la Sekunu Isizalo sasemvezwe zonke zonzobile mthatha Kuyela wako Madiba kavela bembenzela kangqondi nomsila Nalako fafalo dola zwaya kwizizwe ngezizwe
I met Untitled Nelson Mandela for the first time in his welcome home rally in the Transkei. So in my poetry before I saw him in 1991, I have always defined Nelson Mandela, the freedom fighter, Nelson Mandela, the icon of the continent. I began to sing his praises, imagining what kind of a man he looks like in terms of length, in terms of the build-up, and so on and so forth.
Madiba, Nomsila, the tall man who's world-renowned. For decades, his praises have been sung all around the world. Few did it with pride, passion, and power as Zolani Mkiva.
I became to be known as Nelson Mandela's praise singer. It's a culmination of a number of appearances I have made, wherein I saluted him whilst he was still in jail. It was obvious, therefore, that when Nelson Mandela got released, I was going to be there.
Total jubilation, total excitement. People running alongside the car.
We were very excited. It was quite a fulfilling, atmosphere. There was a lot of exuberance. It was robust because we were jumping around, singing toy toy, doing all sorts of things.
Mkiva also praised Nelson Mandela on the historic day of his inauguration, when Mandela officially became the President of the Republic of South Africa. This led to a remarkable relationship between two custodians of African culture and tradition, which saw Zolani Mkiva travel with Nelson Mandela on many of his presidential visits to foreign lands.
Being asked to be part and parcel of a historic event marking the inauguration of Nelson Mandela was one of the most intimidating invitations for me. I was very anxious. Literally, I didn't sleep a night before. I understood the huge responsibility that was being given to me to render a spiritual and a cultural performance for the first democratically elected president of our country, Dr. Nelson Mandela. I sort of had a sense of saying that, is it by coincidence or by accident or by design that Nelson Mandela, being a royal-blooded son of Africa, becomes the first president of a democratic South Africa?
Madiba was a great warrior in the political arena, a warrior of the struggle for the emancipation of the oppressed. And in 2004, his achievements were recognized when he was bestowed with Isitwalandwe, one of the highest orders in the land.
That sort of interaction that I have had with Nelson Mandela, I think it's something that has made me to mature at a very early age. So I have had an opportunity to listen to Nelson Mandela as he addresses the masses of the people in public. I have learned from him, you know, the whole notion of let bygones be bygones. I've learned a lot from Nelson. I've learned, you know, how a leader should behave. He was sort of a person who remained down to earth.
Africa! Africa! Mayibuye! Amandla!
He was appreciative of the fact that here was a young oral poet, oral traditional poet, singing praises for him, for his country. But he felt the need to motivate me. He was a statesman of a different degree, of the highest degree ever. That's why I say that he was an extraordinary, he was a spiritual leader, he was a living ancestor, a humble humanitarian, a warrior of social justice. And he will always be remembered as such.
Mkiva believed Mandela was the Black Moses, a peace fighter at a time when South Africa was on the brink of civil war. Mandela stepped up and called for peace, harmony, and reconciliation in the country.
Nelson Mandela was a liberator of South Africa, like other liberators of different countries. Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, Fidel Castro, Jose Marti. The list is endless. And we will always remember him as having saved our country from an unprecedented civil war. Were it not for that, we would have been swimming in a bath of blood. But thanks to Nelson Mandela for being a wise man, we will always remember him as one of the greatest leaders to have come from the continent of Africa.
We will always remember and hold you dear in our hearts. Madiba.
And talking about hearts, this was a love story that touched even the stony-hearted people. It's a story of a beloved father of the nation falling in love. It's the story of Nelson Mandela and Graça Machel. After this inspiring insert where we see the softer side of Madiba, we'll take a short break for the Sepedi News Bulletin, but we will be back in about 30 minutes to continue with this special broadcast as we honor the life and times of former President Nelson Mandela.